Because of the validation of the word science, many insist on selling their beliefs as science. What we call pseudoscience today, it may have been science once, like astrology. The belief that celestials and the location of celestial bodies affect human affairs, it was once a respected job. Misbeliefs were not always safe. Sometimes they caused death and unbearable damage. The Austrian philosopher Karl Popper was one of those who tried to define this border completely. Popper says one of the main differences between science and pseudoscience is that in science you go after observations and experiments that rejects your phenomenon or proposition. But in pseudoscience, the situation is the opposite. Popper gives us an example. Someone pushes a child into the river and wants to drown him, but someone else saves that child. Freud's followers can explain both behaviors. They say the first person has repressed desires, and the second person has sublime desires. It means that the second person solved his failed desires in a way that is accepted by society and has more controlled and less mental stress. According to Popper, Freud's theory could be adapted to all data. So this theory is irrefutable, and it is pseudoscience. Of course, this does not mean that Freud's services are worthless, but we're only investigating them from Popper's point of view. On the other hand, if it is an undeniable theory, it cannot be considered scientific. For example, if you're told that the universe wants someone to achieve his desires, not anybody else, you're facing with an undeniable proposition, which is not scientific according to Popper. In other words, Popper considered falsifiability to be a requirement of science. Popper accepted Einstein's theory of gravity as a purely scientific theory. Einstein predicted that the sun would tilt the light of distant stars toward itself. And in 1919, with the observation of the eclipse, Einstein's prediction came true. The observations also confirmed Einstein. But if they don't confirm, then it would be clear that Einstein was wrong. Thus, Einstein's theory was consistent with the criterion of falsifiability. Of course, the Popper's criterion faces problems that we will talk about in the future. People may have personal experiences throughout their lives that can never be demonstrated in a lab, or put it to the test of public experience. This is where pseudoscience comes in. Many human intellectual endeavors fall into the realm of non-experimental science, like arts, literature, history, and many epistemological branches that are very valuable, but they're not experimental science. But any proposition that is scientific, it does not mean that it is definite. And what is not a part of science, it does not mean that the concept is incorrect. In a pseudoscientific belief, words such as quantum mechanics, electromagnetism, energy, and entropy are used quite clumsily other than what they mean in physics. Many of us that have not studied these concepts carefully, when seeing these sentences, we get the impression that we understood these concepts. Well, we did not really understand. What things do you know as pseudoscience? Give me some examples.